I have 9 concealers here today, and I am going to rank all of them from worst to best. Coming in number 9, we have the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. So it's labeled as a concealer, but I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a concealer. It's more of a enhancer, a brightener, something similar to what Rare Beauty did with that one. Is it called a brightener? I think something like that. This is very, very light. It obviously is giving a little bit of like YSL Touche Eclat kind of look in sort of the clicky packaging and the brush tip. So it has a cap at the front, and then it has a brush tip here, and then you kind of click it. I haven't used this in a while. That's literally why it's like ranked last. This was like me starting out into makeup, and yeah, I don't use this anymore. It's probably like really old, and it doesn't really give much coverage. It's pretty light. Here it is on my hand. Can't really see it much at all. To be honest, it's old, but it's still kind of creamy, so that's fine. But it's just not a product that I'm reaching for. I think it's great for beginners who are getting into concealer, but now that I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about makeup, this is not really a product that I'm reaching for anymore, but it's still okay, great for beginners. Coming in at number 8, we have the Sephora collection, I guess, Bright Future Gel Serum Concealer. And I was contemplating even putting this in, mostly because it is no longer available. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm pretty sure Sephora pulled this from their collection. A big reason why I'm giving it such a low score or such a low ranking is mostly because of the color. I know that's a terrible reason to give it such a low rating, but I'm just being honest. I got this in a shade that's way too light for me. This is 03 Fondant, and I don't know what I was thinking. I think I picked up a previous one and it was way too dark, and then I picked up this one, and then I was just like too frustrated. I was like, I'm not gonna go back into Sephora again and pick up another shade, so I just decided to keep it. Although I definitely shouldn't have. I do not wear it for the fact that it is way too light. But in addition to that, it sometimes looks a little bit drying on my skin. Here it is. This one you can see because it is clearly lighter than my skin tone. I can make it work. I think I can, but it definitely makes my eyes look very bright. So yeah, I might need a shade or two darker than this, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Now we have the 7th one. This is another e.l.f. product. This is the Camo Color Corrector. And so this is actually a corrector. It's not really a concealer, but you know, they're pretty similar, if you must be honest. They're just tinted in a different color. And e.l.f., if you've looked at the other colors in the range, they go really crazy with the colors. They have a super deep blue one, and I don't know how people make that work. It's a yellow corrector, and I have kind of yellow undertones in my skin, so it's not really something that I want to bring out too much. Why I'm ranking it at 7th place is just because I don't really like correctors. I feel like they're too much of a hassle for me, too much of an extra step. You know, you have to use your corrector and then you have to use another concealer, and I'm a lazy kind of person. I want just a product that I can just use and have it be a single product and not have to use a corrector and then a concealer. I just want to make the step as easy as possible, so the less products I can have in my makeup collection, the better. And yeah, so this is just not really a product that I'm reaching for that often. As far as the quality of it, I think it's okay. It's pretty creamy, it's pretty blendable, it's pretty nice. I just don't really like the extra added step of having a corrector and then a concealer. Now we have number 6. This is the Rare Beauty concealer. What is the name of it? It doesn't actually have the name, does it? Maybe it's just concealer. I have the shade 170W, and yeah, it's okay. It's not a great color for me. The reason I am ranking it as 6 is personally because, here's a shade. Now, the reason I'm placing this in 6th place is because I sometimes find it a little bit drying. Sometimes it looks really good if I really prep my skin, I super hydrate my skin, but for those days that I don't hydrate my skin extremely well and then put this on, it can quickly look very dry. Another reason I don't really like this product is for its packaging. I love the exterior packaging. The packaging is kind of cute. It's kind of, I like this like almost like pebble at the top. It makes it really easy to grab and twist and open. I really dislike this doe foot applicator. I think it is too messy and too chunky, and it just gets way too much product on. I just don't need this much product dispersed onto my brush when I put it on. It's an okay concealer. It's just not one of the best out of my collection. Next we have Makeup Forever HD Skin, the color 2.1Y. I have to say, I really like the formulation of this product. It is pretty lightweight. It blends super easily. Like, it blends basically itself. It blends in like 0.2 seconds or something like that. So I really like how lightweight it is, yet still having some coverage. Now, why I don't like this concealer, and I'm ranking it kind of in the middle-ish, is because I really dislike their shade range. This shade looks like nothing on me. I went into the Sephora store, and even the sales attendant, she was kind of saying how this collection didn't have a great shade range. This was the closest one I could find. If I got a shade lighter than this while still being in my correct undertone, I think it would just be way too light for me. So this is too dark for me. This gives me almost like no brightening on my skin. It almost just like literally blends into my skin. So that I don't really reach for it that often because it doesn't really brighten my eyes, which is why I want to use a concealer to like brighten a little bit of my eye area, give it a little bit of less dark circles around my eyes. So yeah, that's why I'm not really reaching for this that often. But if they came out with an extended shade range and I was able to find a color that better suited me, I definitely think that I would pull for this more often. But yeah, so that's this product. I forgot to give a swatch, so let me do that really quickly. It's nice, it has a paddle. The paddle is pretty flexible as well. And that is the product right there. I'm kind of swatching it in awkward places now. So yeah, this almost has like a little bit of like a peachier undertone. All right, so now we're getting into number 4. And so we've kind of crossed that like middle line. Now these are basically the top 4. This is the DIOR Backstage Concealer. And I have the shade 2N. This is not a bad concealer whatsoever. It's lightweight, it blends pretty nicely, the coverage is really good, and I like the shade personally for myself too, even though I would say sometimes when I put it on, it looks a little bit weird, but when it blends in, it looks pretty nice and seamless into my skin. So here is the color right there, and you can see even like between my hand and the concealer, it pretty much is like my skin tone. It's lightweight, it blends really nicely. It's overall a pretty good product. It's not outstanding, but it is pretty good. I do reach for it quite often. One negative about this product is probably the brush. If I had to be super nitpicky, this brush, while it's kind of cool and it's, you know, gentle on the skin, it's different from a paddle brush or a doe foot brush. The problem is when you kind of put it back into its container, you kind of have to be a little bit careful not to bend any of the bristles. I have a personal one, so I've had this concealer for maybe over a year or so, and I still have it looking pretty nice because every single time I put it back into its bottle, I do like make sure to be very careful with it. But if you've gone into the Sephora stores and you've seen this product, probably every single time that you open one of the testers, they are all wonky because obviously they're not people's personal property. So they don't really care too much about how careful that they're handling their concealer. We are getting into the top 3. These are the ones that I usually, if I'm ever in a pinch, if I'm in a hurry, or just in general, like on a daily basis, if I'm looking for a concealer, I usually pull for these because all of them I have basically no problems with. I put them on and they look good every single time. So number 3 we have is Tower 28, and I have the shade 1E. This is their Serum concealer. It has a paddle brush applicator that's pretty flexible too, so it can bend easily and fit, you know, your face. So here it is, that's the color. It's a little bit more peachy than this one, which is the DIOR one. So this is called a Serum concealer. I think that's a good name for it. It just kind of blends in really easily. It feels kind of nice sweeping it across the face, like it's not too thick or anything, so it's pretty lightweight. It blends in really nicely. It wears really nicely. The coverage is pretty good. I really like the coverage, and it's able to, you know, hide all my panda eyes in the morning. Overall, a pretty good product. I think the packaging's a little bit chunky though. It's probably one of my more like larger concealers, and I feel like you get a lot of product in here. I don't really necessarily need this much product, especially because I have 9 concealers. I do not need 9 concealers. That's probably way too many. I really wanted to clutter some of them, but I've used them, so it's probably like just me throwing it away, and it kind of makes me sad to throw away products that are actually, you know, still usable, so I don't do that. But this is a good product. I really like it. It's ranking at number 3. All right, number 2, we have here, this is the NATASHA DENONA Hy-Glam Concealer. This is in the shade N4. I really like this concealer. It gives great coverage for not that much, you know, product used. So I really like the applicator as well. It's a doe foot applicator, but it comes to a point. So I really like the point, so you're able to get pinpoint coverage, but it also has a little bit of a fatter end, so you can get a little bit more if you want to like sweep a little bit more around the eyes. I really like the formula. It's lightweight. It's still full coverage though. I don't think the color is perfect for me. It's a little bit, I don't know, something about it is a little bit lacking. It looks like this on my hand. So it's a little bit like gray tone, if you can kind of see. So it's not like a perfect shade for me. There's just so many shades in this range. It was almost overwhelming to find a shade that would actually fit me. I had to ask the sales attendant lady, and she was like swatching numerous like shades on me, and it was taking a while. This is the one we finally settled on. I still don't think it's perfect for me, but I still use it a lot, and I am still able to make it work and like blend it into my skin. So yeah, super great coverage, great wear, and yeah, I really like this. All right, now we have number 1. Number 1, this is a product that I probably use like most of the time. I use, you know, the other 2 concealers, the Tower 28 and NATASHA DENONA, a lot too, but this one, if literally I am like 5 minutes I have to be out the door, I am putting this guy on. I now like don't leave the house without concealer because I realized that my panda eyes are a little bit darker than I always thought they were. Anyways, this is the MAC palette. This is the Studio Fix Conceal and Correct palette in light. I really like this palette. You get a variety of shades, and that's probably why I put it at number 1, is just because you have that variety of shades. A lot of times when I am shopping for concealers, I basically never find a concealer that is like actually my skin tone. I think I'm a little bit warmer toned with a little bit of olive undertones as well, and that's a really hard shade for me to find for myself. So having a variety of options is just really awesome because I'm able to mix and match and just use different products. Although I will say I do use pretty much primarily this guy right here, and I don't really dip too much into the other ones. It is nice to have a little bit of options to have, you know, dip into the other colors as well, the other 5 shades as well, but I will say I mostly use this one right here. All right, I swatched the top 4 of them. Here they are. I'm not sure if you can quite see it, but it's on the edge of my hand right here. So we have lightest one. Here's the one that I always use. And then these 2 are the darker ones at the bottom. The one thing I don't like about it is that this palette, I kind of usually use my fingers with it, so it can kind of get a little bit messier. So I usually put my finger in it, and if you can see very closely, it has like a fingerprint marking in there. And then I kind of dot it around my eyes a little bit, around my nose, around my mouth, and then I use a sponge and then I just pat that in. So that's how I usually use it. It does get a little bit messy here and there, and like even the pan is a little bit messy, but I don't know, this product, it just always works for me. It always just looks good. It gives me a good amount of coverage. It lasts throughout the day. It doesn't really look drying that much at all. I still do have to prep my face though, because I have like a drier like mouth area. I find that this always plays nicely with whatever I'm wearing. So if I ever am in a pinch, need to get out the door really fast and don't want to fuss around, I am mostly using this palette. So yeah, those are all the products that I have to share. Those are all the 9 concealers. I definitely don't need this many concealers. I am like never gonna get through this many concealers. Basically, probably number 5 and below, I can probably get rid of, but I don't really want to because I've used them. So if I were to get rid of them, it'd literally just be me throwing it in the trash, which makes me very sad. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try my best to try to use all of them. I am going on a little bit of a concealer hiatus. I'm no longer buying concealers. I have some that I really want, but with 9 concealers in front of me, I really should not buy any more. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Also, if you are wondering what I have on my face during this video, or this section of the video, I do have the Tower 28 concealer on. So today's a day that I actually wore this one instead of my MAC palette. But this is still a good option. It's still very nice. All right, I'm sitting here after I've filmed the video, and I'm realizing that there is probably a reason why I ranked the bottom ones as the bottom ones. Sitting here, it dried a little bit on my hand, and you can see. So here are the top like 4 or 5, something like that, and they all pretty much look pretty similar to my skin. Now, if I look at the bottom 5 or 4, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Bottom 5, you can see these ones, none of them really like match my skin tone that well. Like you can clearly see some are lighter, some are like, this one's really orange, this one still is yellow, which, you know, it's the corrector, so that's fine. But yeah, so these ones like are definitely more of my skin tone. These ones, not really my skin tone at all. So that might be a reason, a heavy reason why I ranked those ones as I did. And then a big shock for me is this Makeup Forever. Holy cow, did it oxidize. It looks like straight up orange on me. This looks so orange, and I am just shocked. I did not know this is what it looks like actually like on my skin. So maybe I just didn't realize it. Maybe it just like darkened like my whole face. But yeah, this looks like straight up orange on my skin. It's pretty crazy. And yeah, let me actually swatch it to show you what it looks like right out of the container. So here it is. There it is right out of the container. Here it is dried down. So it definitely got a lot darker. You can see the difference. So that is pretty shocking and pretty crazy between the two. It definitely still has both an orangey kind of tone. It almost looks like it turns a little bit more red tone in the dry down. Here it's a little bit more orange, and then here there's like a hint more red. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another one.